Con Air clip. Let's do this.
What exactly are we discussing here?
Poe don't want me to off the pigs.
Well, it's not difficult to surmise how Nathan here feels about killing guards, and my own proclivities are well-known and often lamented facts of penal lore. What I'm wondering is why you have any opinion about it at all.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good. But I was just saying to Mr. Dog over here that if it was my barbecue, I'd wait for that old jumbo jet in the sky before I start killing our only leverage.
Shut the fuck up!
Don't you want to get high and get laid? Shit. Oh, fuck this.
Put the gun down. Put the gun down, Nathan.
Hello and welcome to the worst movie ever made, an experiment.
Back there and dig the plane out.
What happened? Hello and welcome to the worst movie ever made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Hockman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing Con Air?
Did the clip cut out or something real quickly? Before...
You froze real fast, so I thought the clip was done, and I just started going. And
okay,
ugh,
well, we're off to a great start. So I am great because I have not watched Con Air since it came out. I was a kid. So I remember it being a cool action movie, but I didn't realize how great of an action movie it was. So this test should be interesting indeed. Bob, do you want to describe the movie?
I'm going to describe the movie with my typical fashion. I'm going to start with an alliteration and then go with my description. Alliteration: undeterred by typical thriller tropes. Tops Terminator 2.
That's incorrect.
Okay.
So like it's pretty easy to explain because it's not a bad movie. It's convicts that were flown via airplane. They take over the plane only to be thwarted by a nearly single-handedly by a former Army Ranger. That's it. It's not a bad movie.
It's basically Mad Max. It's a chase sequence that goes through the entire movie. And it's just the octane keeps getting higher because it's high octane.
So I'm sensing that Rob and Bob are going to be resisting the entire way as I go through my outline detailing why this is actually a bad movie. I will tell you, I've been the one pushing this the entire time. Mm-hmm. I think season 1, episode 1, probably, I said to Rob, we got to do Con Air just because I think it's so much fun. It's absolutely entertaining, and there's no doubt about it, but it's bad. And I'll tell you why, whether or not my co-hosts agree. We will see. Let's right now find out what the American public think in our YouTube comments. Oh, and maybe the world.
Welcome to YouTube, where the comment section is full of
cancer-infested rats. It's a very dangerous snake. It'll kill anybody it comes in contact with.
I thought you were going to be drinking chilled lemonade, Chris, because that's what he writes in his letter to home. He's like, chilled lemonade.
Do you want to guess what this is?
Is that just like a giant tumbler full of red wine?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a wine stein. I decided.
Okay.
Is that a full bottle?
No, I got a 3-liter box. It's about a third of it, I think.
All right. So, first comment, I can't stop watching this movie. Second comment, still one of my faves. Third comment, love this movie, will always be on my top 5. Next comment, best Nick Cage movie, followed by The Rock. Next comment, I wasn't expecting much, but this was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. No,
yeah.
I got a couple more. They're a little beefier. And they point out the only flaws I've seen in the movie, which are just basically just nitpicks. So let's go with it. Great film. The only thing that bothered me was the crash scene. When they crash on the strip, but for a brief moment they were crashing on Fremont Street downtown, probably to get to the product probably to get the product placement in place. That's an awkward sentence. And in the motorcycle chase scene, they got to Fremont Street in seconds, more than 20 minutes away in real life. So that's a flaw. That continuity, whatever. Next comment. One of the things that definitely does not make sense is that Poe pleads guilty, which means, of course, that he has accepted the plea deal from the DA, a deal that looks to be 4 years mentioned by his attorney. This is agreed upon by both parties. The judge would then sentence the defendant to the amount of time per that plea. But here the judge overrides that and gives him 7 to 10 years. That is usually what happens when the defendant loses in a trial, since that's what manslaughter usually carries. It would have made more sense if he didn't plead guilty and then it went to trial and he was found guilty and the jury or judge chose to sentence him to a term of 7 to 10 years. So, I mean, overall, I mean, those are like little nitpicks.
I had that in my catch-all. We'll just use that wording and say that I worded it that way, which I didn't. But...
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Bob, go ahead.
No, nothing.
You disagree
go ahead
with that assessment?
No, I just said no. It's a tick. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. We'll throw it to test number 1 then, the worst of its kind.
That's some bad news and some good news.
I've got some good news and I've got some bad news.
We got some bad news.
This movie is the worst of its kind.
We'll see about that. Speed. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. A 95.
Wow.
Face Off. Travolta and Cage. He's there. A 92. I think we should do that one too. And as a bad movie. And it has a 92. So what do I know? Armageddon.
Okay.
Where can they find that, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. That's our inaugural episode. So you can find us on all the streaming platforms, but you won't find it on YouTube.
That's true. That's very true. Maybe I won't suggest that one. If you're gonna go back, we were pompous and totally over the top and a little highbrow and all those things, but more distilled than our first episode. So listen if you dare. I'm just trying to goad them into actually listening to it. A 43 there. Air Force One, Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman, a 78. And Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman, a movie that I like, probably debatably not great, a 71. An average of a very high 75.8. Con Air, what did it get?
I actually don't know the score, and I didn't stumble across it while doing my research, but based on YouTube alone, I mean, it's got to be like an 85.
I'll go with a 75.7 since you said it was a 75.8.
Yeah, weird. 58%. So it looks like the critics agree. Not that great. Negative 17.8, but not the worst of its kind. We've got some screwy worst of its kind scores this season so far. We will jot that down as we head over to test number 2. Ain't that a pitch?
So tell me the truth, Don, about Rife. How's this stuff? Great. It's got 4 inches. 4 inches? That's not so hot. Yes, it is. I measured him from the ground up.
Well, isn't that a bitch?
I feel like it's been a while since I've gone first, so I'll go first.
I'll go second.
All right. There once was a man named Cameron Poe who was thought by prison officials to be a foe, but he saved the day in a totally badass way. Bad movie? Psh, I certainly don't think so.
All right, let me strike back. Misunderstood serial killer Garland Green, stuck on a plane with convicts who are really mean. Now the whole world in his hands because the plane lands on the strip in Vegas, so Garland is back on the scene.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Chris.
I kind of forced it in because I don't have it in most offensive. So,
all right,
that's pretty good. Okay, there once was a movie that Chris despised, so I finally watched it and was quite surprised. The pacing creates such satisfaction with accompanying humor and action. The title of our podcast might need revised.
Okay.
All right. Okay, fair. I'm going to go Chris. He obviously put in the most work. 5 star.
I'll say Chris 1 star.
And I'm going to say Chris 2 stars.
Okay, so
3
that's
plus 5. It's a 4. You get a 4 after the whole.
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
So there goes our plan to tank you
4
there.
stars
So,
for Chris. Great
Chris gave
job,
himself a
Chris.
5, and that threw
Great
off our average.
job, Chris. Wonderful.
No. 1, 2, and what was?
Oh, I divided by 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. 1
Yeah.
plus 2 plus 5. That's 8 divided by 3. So sorry. What's that? Like 2.6 or something like that.
2.33.
2.3.
Okay,
I'm not good at math.
2.33. Whatever. Fine. All right. Let's throw it to test number 3. The most offensive. I'm offended right now.
Sure.
Well, Jimmy John, all I said was
Saddles.
go deep, and white guys keep them out if you can't on 2. Jimmy, the motherfucker's crazy, but he sure can throw.
That's it from here in Molokai, Hawaii. Back to you
with the most offensive.
Okay, I totally lied. Check this out. Number 5. Gambling, Garland, Greens, Vegas Getaway. Let's talk about it. We have the serial killer, probable rapist, crazy person. We're supposed to applaud the fact that he's now on the Vegas Strip having a good time. He's killed 30 people. Brutally. Wore a girl's head as a hat driving through 3 states.
Hey, Silence of the Lambs ended the same way. So, and that won a Best Picture winner. So, what do you want to say?
Yeah, and also it basically proves that he was reformed because he didn't murder that girl with the tea party at the pool that was like strangely vacant for some reason.
Bob, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Rob, he's gonna kill somebody that night for sure. All right, number 4.
They never made a sequel.
You're gonna run out of reasoning and rhymes. By the way, by the end of the
I will have a rhyme or a reason by the time we finish. Number 4. This is ditching your daughter to drag down Diamond Dog and Cyrus. At the very end, instead of getting the help of the police for a regular old street chase through Vegas, John Cusack's character, forget his name, and Cameron Poe, Nicolas Cage, they decide that they're going to get on police motorcycles and chase after Cyrus and Diamond Dog. And it's especially offensive because Nicolas Cage's daughter, Poe's daughter, has been waiting for years to see him, and she's right there, but instead he decides not to let the cops handle it, but to go risk his life to take out Cyrus himself.
Okay, so in fairness, he never met her in person, so there was never that established like physical.
He doesn't even know if he likes her. Yeah,
exactly. But his buddy, his cellmate, his brother, that kept him alive, like mentally and spiritually to that point. There's some importance.
Baby O.
Yes.
It should have been Bubba O, I think.
Yeah.
Right, Bubba O. Right, I agree.
Okay.
All right, first clip of the day. Let's throw it to number 3. This is Nobody.
This is Nobody. Let me just get the clips.
Now look at this walking penis. Boy, you are one skinny Negro.
Easy, man.
Open
Shit.
up. Oh, man, it smells like so much shit in your mouth.
Told me he loved me.
Get out of my face.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, Larkin, who's that guy? That is Cameron Poe, a parolee hitching a ride home. He's a nobody.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Had to include it. Nicolas Cage gets off the bus and waves his hair in the breeze and smiles at the sunshine, whatever, what have you. Ridiculous. But a little bit of racism on the part of the CO there, transferring Dave Chappelle from bus to plane. Pretty bad, but not... Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not as bad, in my opinion, as number 2. Problematic portrait of particular prisoners. Do you want to know who I'm talking about, or can you guess?
The Danny Trejo guy?
The what?
Danny Trejo's character?
Yeah, Johnny 23. That's one of the 2 that I'm going to point out. Until number 1, which is a different one. And Sally Can't Dance.
Okay.
The prisoner who is wearing a dress at some point. I found their character to be somewhat problematic for its 90s representation of an entire, 10% of the population? 20% of the population?
Yeah.
But not as bad as number 1, in my opinion. Prisoner Pinball. That is Dave Chappelle, who we heard in clip number 1. Prisoner Pinball insulting and igniting an American Indian, otherwise known as a Native American, if you want to be more politically correct, but for the sake of alliteration, I said American Indian. He sits down and says "how" to him, makes a reference to Wounded Knee, and then says, "I'm sorry, I hope you don't scalp me," and then he lights him on fire.
Okay, so there are problems with that, yes, Chris, but also, like they're speaking through the lens of like clearly like a pyromaniac / psychopath. Like that is something that type of character would say. So like, yes, outwardly to the audience, it is kind of offensive, but it's probably on par for that type of character, which puts a little
not just the type of character, but the specific character we're supposed to hate Chappelle. He's part of the enemy, so it makes sense for us to hate him. And then even if we think he's funny up to this point, we hate him now because he's offensive as well.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, that's what I got. You guys want to mention anything for the most offensive?
No, I'm good.
Of course you don't. Bob?
Oh yeah.
No, you hit them all, man. You hit them all.
Yeah, the very few that there were.
One quick thing. The soundtrack, like not like the actual like the compact disc that comes with the CD that's got like a bunch of rock bands on it. But the score to the movie, it's so fucking lame, dude.
Okay, nice.
It's so fucking lame. Like it took me out of the
Agreed.
film
I thought about that.
Yeah, but it's just like it sounds like something you hear on a daytime soap opera when like really serious shit's happening. And it kind of took me out of it just a little bit. So I have to give some credit there for that.
How did you feel about the score when like Cyrus is walking away from the fire and it's like dun dun dun?
That was pretty cool. It matched the vibe on the screen, but like just like the swelling violins and like the nice crescendos and stuff like just
as Cameron Poe like feels the breeze in his hair, that kind of thing. Yeah, kind of ridiculous. Rob, why don't we throw it to your ad read?
Why don't you open your phone while I play the bumper and you're gonna read it?
Oh God. Rob can sell you anything from
kinky sex
to
the midgets and the wimps.
In Rob's ad read. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on The Worst Movie Ever Made. My name is Chris Ackman. I'm the host. I'm going to be doing the ad read for today. This is Rob's ad read, but it's Chris's ad read. Okay. Hey, everyone. Chris Ackman here. Oh, no. And let me tell you about this 90s action masterpiece, Con Air. This film is an absolute thrill ride, blending over-the-top action with a dash of humor. Nicolas Cage leads a stellar cast, delivering a performance that's just as wild as the movie's explosive set pieces. It's a film that celebrates its absurdity, offering a perfect blend of nostalgia and adrenaline. Now here's the deal. I've got copies of Con Air on Blu-ray for sale right out of the trunk of my car. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this classic. It's the epitome of the 90s action cinema. Entertaining, unapologetically bold, and just plain fun. Grab a copy and relive the excitement. Now, I'm not heading back. I'm going to say, strike that from the record. Fuck you, Rob. This movie is awesome, I agree, but for all the wrong reasons. Let's throw it to test number 4, the worst dialogue.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that snake come from?
Would you believe up through the toilet?
Just when you thought it was safe to take a pee.
That's really bad dialogue.
You son of a bitch. I just realized that you can isolate any part of that you want to.
Yes.
Which maybe I shouldn't have just said out loud. What is this red wine doing to me? All right, let's start with number
5.
Box.
I knew you was a punk, and I was right. You've been playing us all along. You a free man.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
Die, punk.
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Yeah, the fucking like Baywatch guitar it kills me. Otherwise, perfect movie, but yeah, the Baywatch guitar.
Yeah, it's like Sebastian Bach's Wet Dream, that guitar. I don't know. Is it awesome? Is it ridiculous? Is it super lame? I don't know what that is. Put the money back in the box. I can never decide. What do you guys think?
Like, okay, so I mean, that's the present. they don't really go into how he obtained the money. I'm assuming he got it like at the commissary or like the prison store to send home.
Yeah.
So I mean, in his mind at that point, I mean, that's all he had to like.
Yeah, I
introduce
understand
himself
that.
to his daughter. So I understand the intensity of the delivery of an otherwise silly line.
I think the callback was unnecessary, but not
Yes.
to the point that it was bad. It was just like unnecessary. It's just like,
well,
yeah.
Put the money back in the box in other movies is maybe number one, but because of the context, I felt we had to include it, but I didn't know how to feel about it. But it's going to get worse from here. Here's the tropiest of tropes in number 4. This one's a little long. I apologize for that, but you need it. This is the rundown.
That's William Bedford, a.k.a. Billy Bedlam.
The mass murderer?
The same. He caught his wife in bed with another man, left her alone, drove 4 towns over to his wife's family's house, killed her parents, her brothers, her sisters, even her dog.
Stand him. And who is that good-looking brother on screen?
Nathan Jones, a.k.a. Diamond Dog, former general of the Black Guerrillas. He blew up a meeting of the National Rifle Association saying, and I quote, they represented the basest negativity of the white race. He wrote a book in prison called Reflections in a Diamond Eye. New York Times called it a wake-up call for the black community. They're talking to Denzel for the movie.
Close door number 1.
This one's done it all. Kidnapping, robbery, murder, extortion.
Foxtrot Charlie, perimeter secure. You are clear to release.
His name is Cyrus Grissom, a.k.a. Cyrus the Virus. 39 years old, 25 of them spent in our institutions. But he's bettered himself inside, earned 2 degrees, including his Juris Doctor. He also killed 11 fellow inmates, incited 3 riots, and escaped twice. Likes to brag that he killed more men than cancer.
Okay, open wide. Lift your tongue.
Cyrus is a poster child for the criminally insane. He's a true product of the system.
What's that supposed to mean? What is he, one of these sociology majors who thinks we're responsible for breeding these animals?
No, but I could point a few fingers if it would make you feel comfortable.
So what was wrong with that?
That is, I mean, Rob, we could probably name 5 movies where we've made fun of this, and you agreed with me.
Yeah.
It's only until now.
I'm going to get into that in the catch-all, because like this movie has more tropes and cliches than most of the movies we've done, but I'm going to argue they did them well. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. All right, let's go to number 3. This is Creep and Freak.
So what was that all about?
Oh, nothing. Except they somehow managed to get every creep and freak in the universe onto this one plane. And then somehow managed to let them take it over. And then somehow managed to stick us right smack in the middle. Hi, Garland.
Okay.
My main contention, actually, he says managed to a few times, which like it's like they're running on it, like it's the platform for the delivery of the line. But I hated that. But the thing I hated most about it was when he said over.
Over.
Yeah, it was kind of like when Jack Rabbit slapped the bear. You know, Jack Rabbit slapped the bear. Like it's way. It's funny because we did Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage as a good movie. It's one of our first.
Yeah.
Where could they find that, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com, and that was an interesting episode because I recorded that while driving my car.
That's true. Super good episode, super good movie. And Nicolas Cage has what you would maybe refer to as a type of Southern accent, although it's the dry climate, dry Arizona accent when he's doing when he's putting the cage in Cajun. It's way too wet and it's just sloppy and humid, and I think it's bad. And he's the lead actor in this movie. I think his accent is actually awful, and I'm going to add more evidence to my case file here. In number...
Is this number 2, right? Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. 2. This is Oak Tree.
And I will have our margaritas on the yacht.
Mi esposa y yo vamos a tomar unas margaritas en el yate, por favor.
Dear Daddy, today was my first day at first grade. I didn't like it. I don't want to go back tomorrow. This boy, Scotty Dalton, has black teeth and calls me names. Mama says I have to go back. Tell her not to make me.
Dear Casey, hopefully this finds you still going to the first grade. School is very important. Your mom is right. Now don't you worry about little Scotty Dalton. Sometimes you meet people like that, but don't let them get you down.
Here we go.
Dear Daddy, are you ever coming home?
Dear Casey, of course I'm coming home. You're just a little while longer, and all the things we miss doing together, you can be sure we'll do. Dear Hummingbird, break out the fine china, chill the lemonade, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, 'cause this boy's coming home to his ladies, coming home forever. I just hope I'm not a disappointment to Casey or to you. Love, Cameron.
Coming home forever. It's just that's bad. Is that good? Is that great? Is he doing a good job? Is that good dialogue? Am I crazy? What's happening here? Am I being conned on air?
Yes. So once again, I will cover this in the catch-all. I'll cover this in the catch-all because all the letters are supremely corny. I'll give you that. But to Bob's point, that allows this movie to have the pacing that it does because it jams in a lot of exposition without like slapping it in your face like other bad movies do, where they through dialogue they basically explain the plot several times. This is just like it's a montage. It's basically a montage through letters.
How many times did they explain that there are a plane full of villains hijacking government property and transporting themselves from here to Mexico? Like
I refuse
12.
to answer that question. I refuse to answer that question, Chris.
All right, let's throw it to number
1, Daddy.
Drum roll. You know what? Fuck it.
You know, I should have made this clip a little shorter so that we can play it twice. You have to really listen to this to understand what happens. It's a really, really strange choice.
Mm-hmm.
This is Fire Hop.
Yep. Oh shit, my bad. 1 second. Whoops. Give me what? So Fire Hop, you said, right?
Yeah.
Cyrus, help me.
Looks like you missed your connection.
We were coming to get you. Please. Sai.
Anara.
Thought I'd add the classic trope at the end there of Nicolas Cage diving through the back window to escape the fireball.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what's so awful about that line, in my opinion, is Cyrus predicts that the bad guy is going to say just the first half of his name. Fine. You know what? If his nickname throughout the movie, like half of the people called him Cy, maybe you can get away with it a little bit. It's still cheesy as fuck. No one in this movie calls him Cy. This guy is about to say Cyrus, and the delivery of Cy is awkward as hell. And it just then he finishes with Anara because he knows it's coming and throws the cigarette. Some writer just thought Cy, what can I do with that? Sayonara, we'll have him kill somebody and finish it, and somebody in the writer's room should have been like, no, that's fucking stupid. Let's not put that in the movie. But instead, because the writer's room was full of a bunch of fucking idiots, nobody picked up on how bad that was going to be, how poorly it was going to translate. And here you go, perfect fodder, perfect kindling. in Firehop for my argument that this movie sucks. What do you guys have to say?
I have to say, save your window jumping through the window tropes for the catch-all. All right, this is dialogue. All right,
I included it in the clip.
Yeah,
save it. All right, don't use it now. So I'm with you a little bit. I'm with you a little bit, and the sayonara thing was a little bit like
corny.
Would not have happened that quickly.
Yeah,
it's like there's no way. So I'm with you on that one, but that's about it.
Thank you.
That's fair.
I appreciate you lending an olive branch there. Let's throw it to test number 5, the worst production, Bob.
Oh, perfect time.
All right, everybody. That was a great production. Good job, everybody. Let's get this premiere ready, guys. You did it.
In a pig's ass.
He's going to defend the movie.
He's saying a pig's ass?
Probably.
Yeah.
The worst production.
What I'm gonna do is do what I do best, and that's state the worst production. And anyway, this movie is Con Air, and in the first act of the movie, they do very intentional character sketches. Like here's this character, 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 and then the second act, they blast through the story. They're like, we're hijacking a plane. We're doing it in real time. We're involving as many characters as we can. And I think it's amazing. Honestly, I did think it was amazing. I thought it kicked ass. And then in the third act, it was just unreal action. So that's my tagline for the worst production is unreal action in the third act. Because the third act is just fucking ridiculous.
It's insane.
It really is.
It's absolutely insane.
That's on par for an action movie. So I'm gonna give it it's not a bad movie, but it was such a good movie until then, and then it fucked it up. How about that?
Okay, well, I scratched one off of my catch-all so that I can agree with you. But this is a good thing because then I'll have less to go after we rotate. It's very Michael Bay.
Yes.
The third act. It's just it's Armageddon. That's probably why it was suggested to me. It's so over the top action. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Only the third act though.
Isn't that true?
I'm very specific. Very specific.
All right. I will get into more of why I disagree with you in the catch-all. I'll save it. Okay.
Okay.
But I agree. Completely unrealistic action sequences in the third act and the second act too. Well put, Bob. Test number 6. This is the worst acting.
You should get in, Rowdy. The water is great.
Are you kidding? I've got better things to do with my body temperature.
Like acting a bad movie.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I heard you say that. All right, number.
We'll go with Chris.
One.
This is Playtime.
Dearest Tricia, I think of you always. You'll smile, you'll laugh. I'm not angry. The blame's gotta fall on me. I am, however, torn apart when I think that I won't be there to see our child come into the world, cradled in your arms, and her first smile. I got your package. Those pink coconut things have made me quite popular. Met a guy just the other day, Baby-o. He sure does love him. And now our daughter, beautiful Casey. I watch her grow in the pictures you send. I showed him the Baby-o. His reaction was simple. He said, "Thank God she looks like her mama." I'd have to agree. It's funny, but here I am, in maybe the worst place on earth, and yet somehow I feel like the luckiest man alive.
Dear Daddy, I started today at the Little Sunshine Daycare Center. My teacher is Miss Gordon. She is nice. We go to playtime and we all have to hold hands when we walk there.
Dear Casey, It was so good to read your letter. I'm glad you like your teacher. We don't exactly have a playtime like you. We do go outside, though, but normally we don't hold hands.
I'm so glad I read your letter.
Is he? I feel like he's going for Forrest Gump.
Kind of.
It's
a little similar.
It's ridiculous. All right, number 2, Turbulence.
Usted es el famoso criminal, amigo.
Sí, me dicen el Juanillo 23.
Tú eres Juanillo 23, sí te conozco. 23 cargos de violación.
Mira, un corazón para cada mis 23 marranitas. Call me Johnny 600 if they knew the truth.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite the same ring to it. Anyway, I despise rapists. For me, you're somewhere between a cockroach and that white stuff that accumulates at the corner of your mouth when you're really thirsty. But in your case, I'll make an exception. Guard fouls on?
What?
Oh, stewardess. Stewardess. What's the in-flight movie today?
Well, I think you'll like it, Cyrus. It's called I'll Never Make Love to a Woman on the Beach Again. And it's preceded by the award-winning short, No More Steak for Me, Ever.
Funny fucker, aren't you?
Hope this goes smoothly. All those monsters on one plane.
Please, Jenny, this is a well-oiled machine. The only thing we gotta worry about is stale peanuts and a little turbulence.
Yeah, no foreshadowing there at all.
Yeah, for real.
None.
I think that they thought John Malkovich or any actor on earth could do more than they can. Because the way that they wrote Cyrus is supposed to be this like ultra intelligent person. But the dialogue is such, in my opinion, that he's not able to deliver it. We opened with that clip that we opened with because I actually really enjoyed the line where he says that my proclivities are something of, penal lore, long lamented articles of penal lore. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool. And Malkovich is great. So he's able to deliver it. But there's examples like this where he's doing I liken you to that of something between a cockroach and the little spit that accumulates in the corner of your mouth and turns white or whatever. It's impossible to be able to do these long soliloquy acting bits.
It is stilted. It does sound like no better than what it would have sounded at the table read when he was just going through the lines for the first time.
Yeah,
so I'll give you that. It did bother me.
Thank you. I'll take it and we'll run with it to number 3. This is Unfucked.
Yeah. Tell me, Skip, what kind of a Keystone Cops operation you guys running here, huh? And you little shit, you got my agent killed.
Hey! He brought a gun on the plane.
If I knew the way you guys run things, I would have done to bring a fucking Uzi on board.
No one carries on these flights. No one. He brought a gun on board and he got himself killed. And in doing so, he compromised the safety of my men.
Your men are incompetent. They let themselves get taken over by a bunch of thugs and chains and cages.
I'm not going to stand around and listen to this shit.
Guys, let's work it out.
Okay. So, what do we do now? What's the plan? You do have a plan, don't you?
We're working on it. Contingency plans for something like this don't exist. The situation's never been contemplated.
Well, you better start contemplating, because this is a situation that needs to get unfucked right now!
Unfucked.
If I knew the way that you guys operated, I would have had him go on there with a full arsenal. He would have had an Uzi.
This is my jurisdiction. Not anymore, it isn't.
Yeah, not anymore, it's not. Yeah, there you have it. Last clip. I think this is a pretty short one. It's just so funny to me. This is number 4. Oh, I'm so excited for this. This is She's My.
In person?
In person. And your little girl.
You saw Casey.
Uh-huh.
If this thing goes bad, Locke, then I'm afraid my daughter won't understand. If you talk to my wife again, you tell her I love her. She's my hummingbird. But I couldn't leave a fallen man behind. You'll do that for me, won't you, Larkin?
Sure I will. What are you gonna do for me?
What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save the fucking day.
Yes.
So
you included the best part and the
lame.
worst part.
Oh my god, what's the best part about that?
I'm gonna save the fucking day.
Yeah, but like the way he delivers it. I'm gonna
delivers-
save the fucking day.
Catch all territory, but it's the self-awareness of this movie that makes me not fault it. As I'm not as harsh.
You can't tie the yellow ribbon around the oak tree and call your wife a hummingbird. That's I understand what you're saying, but that's beyond the scope. You have to rein it in. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
It is. Chill the lemonade is my favorite one.
Chill the lemonade.
Tie the yellow ribbon around the oak tree and then chill the lemonade.
Chill the lemonade.
I'm coming home.
Hummingbird. Fucking unbelievable. I think it sucks. I fucking love this movie. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But I hope I'm turning the audience against it at least. Let's start to fact or no fact.
Confucius say, man with deadly hands must be very careful while slapping on aftershave.
Fact or no fact?
Did Chris freeze?
Chris froze.
Chris froze.
I'm not going on until Chris is unfrozen.
Okay, so now that
Even though
he's
it's
gone-
hilarious.
Yeah. Now that he's gone, I mean, we're pretty much we're executing the plan. Oh, hey Chris.
Hi.
You're back?
What plan?
Nothing. Did you hear everything?
Shit,
the whole
I
time?
knew it. I knew you two were doing something. Schemers.
All right.
Schemers. So Rob did
That
that. Rob made me freeze on purpose somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah, we're gonna have
fact
a
or no fact? You know, I didn't come up with a name for this fact or no fact because
Why not?
it's just like I enjoyed it. So anyway, we're looking for. I did not. So here's something I did not do. I did not fudge this game. This is for real. I'm gonna read 5 things that sound real, and one of them is a lie, and you guys have to filter out the lie. Here we go.
Okay.
And no, Chris, I did not tell Rob the lie ahead of time.
Yeah. No. Honest Indian.
Okay.
Yeah. No, honest
So,
Native American.
first one. A welder, assigned, hired by the crew, was crushed to death when a model of the plane fell on him.
Damn.
Okay, second one. It was Nicolas Cage's idea that his character would not swear, but the writer and director didn't agree and chose to change that.
All right.
Third, the scene where the aircraft's wing hits the hard rock guitar was filmed using replicated guitar sign and a jailbird miniature model. Okay, fourth, the How Do I Live Without You song was nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Song and a Razzie for Worst Original Song.
Whoa.
And Nicolas Cage, this is the fifth one, traveled to Alabama to work on his accent.
That's so believable.
You're baiting me. You're baiting me.
Go for it. Find the lie.
Okay. The welder was crushed. I mean, like, I don't know, possibly. You mean like on set, like somebody who was on the crew was killed?
Yes.
Because the model of the plane fell on him? Okay.
Yes.
Cage's idea not to swear, but it was the writer and director disagreed. See, I believe that because like the whole like the lemonade line that we've been making fun of, for example, is like, so he doesn't drink, even though he's like a hardened, so like he's not drinking bathtub or toilet hooch in prison. He's on the straight and narrow. So like I there are elements of that aside from the swearing that paints that picture. So I can agree with that. The scene where the aircraft's wing hits hard rock, was filmed using a replicated guitar sign and miniature model. I mean, I would venture to guess they didn't actually crash an airplane into the Vegas Strip. So I'm assuming there's a kernel of truth in that. The song was nominated for both an Oscar and a Razzie for the opposite reasons. I'm gonna come back to that. And Cage traveled to Alabama to work on his accent. So Cage he's not a method actor. All the reports I ever read on him is like method actors, they stay in character all the time, right? And like to the point, to the annoyance of everybody else on set, because they're like, dude, come on, I want to have a conversation that's not like in character. But every report I've read about Nicolas Cage is like he does throw himself into his roles, but like he can like snap it on and off. Like he'll be in character, and then the producer will walk out and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm Nick again. What's going on?" So like, I believe that he went to Alabama to work on his accent, but I don't think he. So I don't think he's a method actor, but I think he did the Alabama thing. I'm gonna go number 4 because I think when large institutions or academies do the nominee circuit, I think they talk to one another at least a little bit, because if something wins a Razzie, it can't also win an Oscar. I think that would make both academies look stupid. And since the whole thing's about posturing and pageantry, I think 4 is the lie, because I think the academies, even something as like silly as the Razzies, which isn't like as formal as like the Academy Awards or like the Golden Globes or anything like that, I think there'd be some communication between whatever spokesperson to make sure there's no overlap, because that would make the Oscars look really stupid if they nominated something for being that great while another institution was like, this is the dumbest shit I ever heard. So I'm gonna say number 4 is the lie.
I'm gonna say that it was not Cage's idea not to swear. I'm gonna say it was Cage's idea to swear.
Okay, so that's the whole game. So here we go. First of all, Cage did travel to Alabama to work on his accents.
Of course he did.
And unfortunately and tragically, a welder hired by the special effects crew was crushed to death when a model of the plane fell on him. And a matter of fact, in the credits, which Chris usually scans over, they mentioned that the movie was dedicated to this guy.
Oh. What a legacy.
What a legacy. And yes, it was a miniature that the wing hit the guitar, the hard rock guitar, with the miniature of the model of the jailbird.
So one of us is right. Bob loses. It's at least
so
a team
he's
win.
right. And yes, I do lose, because How Do I Live Without You was nominated for an Oscar and nominated for a Razzie.
Wow.
It didn't win either. But I said nominated, so that means Chris wins, because Nicolas Cage's idea the character wouldn't swear was from The Rock, not from this movie.
Oh, right. Yes.
That is baffling to me, though, because like if it was nominated for both, then that means like that takes credibility away from the Oscars, and I know like they're all like about their image, so like, that's surprising to me. So I learned something.
At the same time, the Oscars almost always nominates early. And the Razzies kind of waits until the end of the year.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. And to Chris's credit, he cheated because he probably knew already that Nicolas Cage's character in The Rock didn't swear, and that was Nicolas Cage's idea. I stole that fact from The Rock, and Chris loves The Rock.
The Rock is a great movie.
That's
a definitive good movie episode. Not this horse shit we're trying right now with Con Air.
Never seen it.
It's Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Like they're like the ultimate odd couple in Alcatraz with guns. It's fucking amazing.
But I'm not going to take it away from Chris's win. That was a legitimate Chris win. Good job, Chris.
What? Are you playing like an audience cheering sound? Because it's not getting picked up by the microphone.
That's our live audience cheering Chris on. A great win.
I hope you're embarrassed.
Again.
The microphone
First
didn't pick it up, Chris.
So really? Shit. God damn it.
Thank God.
I turned the page to write down that I won, even though I don't normally do that. All right. Well, I won. You all know it. I know the audience at home is applauding. So there's that sound effect that I need. Let's throw it to the catch-all. Great job, Chris.
If brains were virtue, you'd have a clean cage.
Yeah. Welcome to the catch-all.
Look, Bob, I didn't take kindly to the last time that you accused me of cheating, and I still don't like it. And in fact, I said
that was like a year ago.
I said that Nicolas Cage had the idea to swear because I thought that the writers would want him to not swear to go with the lemonade and yellow ribbon kind of bullshit. And Cage, I thought, would be like, I have to swear because the other prisoners wouldn't believe that I'm a hard convict if I don't swear, So that's what I was saying. That's why I said, and I said that. You can rewind. I did say that, so I didn't know that it had anything to do with The Rock. Therefore, I didn't cheat. I won legitimately, like I always do every week. Because of pussies like you, we lost in Vietnam, says a guy in the bar at the beginning of the movie. Is that true? Did we lose Vietnam because of pussies like Cameron Poe?
No, I think we lost in Vietnam because it was a fucking lie fabricated by our government to further throw dollars at the military-industrial complex in a misguided attempt to take over the world.
Fair.
I'm going to say he came home from the war, and his wife is pregnant, and she's not showing.
3 months pregnant.
And she's not showing. Can't be his.
Shit.
It can't be his.
Holy shit.
You ever see that meme online, Bob, where it's like a guy crying and it's when you're enlisted in active service and you see an 8 a.m. charge for $50 from your wife at CVS?
Right.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. That's mine. So Chris, toward your point, bad facts.
Yes.
Okay. So
Very
as
good.
cliche and like stupid at points that this movie is, very, very, very good like foreshadowing. Like with the hostess, like Snowball, the little pink thing he called it. We didn't know at that point that Baby O was diabetic and that he needed sugar. So like they did really good job at that kind of stuff where it's just like you didn't know it was gonna be a problem at that point, but then like you think backwards and you're like, oh yeah, the guy needs sugar when he's like locked up, and that's why they became friends because he was like kind of helping him out with his diabetes to get his insulin in order. So I thought that was neat.
Very, very fair point.
Right.
Yeah, hadn't thought of that. Back to me.
No, hadn't thought of that.
No, hadn't thought of that. Believe it or not, 90s anarchist cookbook. I thought was really funny. I remember growing up like in the 90s, and I heard about the anarchist cookbook. And like, if you buy one, you're going to be on the FBI like list and blah blah blah. But I also wanted to throw in the 90s palm strike murder technique that Cage throws in there in self-defense, because I feel like since the 90s that has become a less popular way of killing another person in self-defense.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. On to you, Bob.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go for the movie again. I'm gonna say against the movie. Would you pick a fight with a guy who was recently trained how to kill people? Like the guy at the bar was like, yeah, you motherfucking pussy. And he's like, this guy just came back from a war after he was recently trained to kill people, and I'm going to pick a fight with him.
Yeah.
No.
And he's got a shitload of medals on his... He's got a shitload of medals.
Yeah. Maybe he's picking a fight because that's his daughter.
Yeah.
But
maybe
that's not what he said, though.
Yeah.
Chris,
well,
don't
I mean,
go against my argument for your argument.
All right, fair. I'm just saying maybe Trisha was treating around, and the guy's like, I'm a hound dog, and that's why I impregnated your wife. Well,
but you heard what he said before that, right?
What did he say?
He said something like I would kill to get a piece of that, whatever.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you're right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe it's one of his buddies.
Okay. So what's the DEA agent's name again? I'm trying to pull up Wikipedia, but I'm always bad with.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Larkin.
So once again,
no, Larkin's U.S. Marshal.
That was Cusack.
Larkin is Cusack, right?
Yeah, but the DEA agent, once again with the visual
Malloy.
storytelling. Okay, we'll go with that. They did really good with the visual storytelling, just like the snowball in the prison with Baby O. Before he even says much dialogue, you know he's a fucking asshole because he backs into a handicap spot. Like they didn't need to keep that. They didn't need to have that detail in there because he proves himself to be a massive asshole later in the film. But they did a good job establishing the characters through their actions. You know, writing 101, show don't tell, and they showed us that this guy is gonna be a piece of shit throughout most of the movie. Once again,
a handicap spot at a military airfield.
Yeah. I didn't say it was perfect execution, but the fact is, it was there, and he did pull into it.
It's the what do you? It's the air traffic controller.
Yeah, with the flashlights.
Maybe transport them separately.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But the fuel costs, Chris.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would have cost a lot more to just drive them all in different cars than to have a fueled 747 or whatever that costs like $1,000 a fucking gallon of fuel. But all right, good point, Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so the guard on the plane hit the neo-Nazi guy with his elbow because he was like pissing him off. And he like held it like, ow, that really hurt. Like kudos to that direction. Like good job. Like that would have hurt. It wasn't like this typical action movie badass shit where they hit him and then they were cool. He actually was like, ow, that really hurt. So good job on that.
Okay. All right.
Kudos.
Yeah. Counterpoint to Bob. Shortly thereafter, Nicolas Cage gets shot in the bicep at point blank range and doesn't even flinch.
What good timing, Rob? Did you pull that forward from like? Oh my god! What perfect timing! Oh my god! Here's a line. This is said by Baby O. Hey man, get off my insulin. He's standing. The convict is standing in a puddle of insulin.
Yeah,
because the bottle, the laughable like Patron silver-sized bottle of insulin falls on the floor and breaks, and a convict is standing in it, and Baby O says, "Get off my insulin," as if he's going to like lick it off the ground. I don't know, maybe he is, but
fight or flight, Chris.
Really
just to play devil's advocate, fight or flight. If someone's standing on your insulin, what would you say to them?
Yeah, you're right. I'd say, "Get off my insulin."
You say, "Get off my insulin."
No, I watched this several times during my trailer editing. The insulin was in a separate vial, which he held separately. That was not the insulin, the big Patron bottle full.
Okay,
that was
all
different.
Right. I thought that was really funny. Like,
but
what movie was it? What movie was it, guys? Where there was like a toxic dose of some kind of like formula or something that they were, and it was a 750 milliliter. Like needle, you remember that? It was like
was
Batman?
Was that Doom? No.
It might have been Doom. You remember what I'm talking about, though? It's like a syringe, but the thing is like the size of my Weinstein, and they're injecting. It's like they could have injected anything in there, and the person would have been dead.
Yeah,
Weinstein.
I'm gonna name him Harvey. It's a movie podcast. Had to do it.
Nice.
All right, Bob. I think.
All right. Let's move back to what I was going to say. So I'm going to go back to Chris's side for a second.
Thank you.
What did Dave Chappelle strike the match with? Like he pulled that shit out of his throat. He had the liquid. Yes. He had the match. It was all dry. It was inside that pouch. But what did he strike the match on?
I just assumed it was I thought it was one of those like Redbird like strike on anything, because they did used to sell strike on anything boxes until like average non-outdoors, non-camping people will just like drop the box in their kitchen and like set their house on fire. So I think they recalled them for the most part, but they do have strike anything matches where you just like strike it on your desktop. Or
as a former pyromaniac child, I know that you cannot strike matches on almost anything. I had a hard. We used to make fires in the woods all the time, and I know bad place to start fires, but we were kids.
Yeah,
and we could never make that happen. We had to like improvise.
Do you ever use your teeth?
No.
Because I mean, not that Pinball did. Pinball did not do that. So that's a very fair point. I agree, Bob. Great job.
I'm going to go out on a limb and have a controversial take right here and say, for the time this movie came out, like the time and place, 1997, I think, 98, 97, I think 97. Surprisingly progressive. They do heightened versions of stereotypes, yes. Like, you know, like I'm pointing towards the homosexual
yes, Sally can't dance.
Sally, yeah, with the whole like dress scene. So it does a little misdirect because this guy's a dainty little thing or whatever, but within the same scene, the guy picks up like an automatic weapon and he's a fucking badass.
Yeah, so Cyrus gives him like an M16 or something.
So, and he knows how to use it immediately. So it flies in the face. They use the stereotypes as a way to to establish the character, but they do things that contradict the stereotype in a way that's empowering. Because every person is a damaged or a bad person, or in the late 90s, people weren't very fond of gay culture, and he was an empowered individual who like was able to handle himself. So I think that's surprisingly progressive for like a 1990s action movie made by a bunch of boomers in their 30s.
True.
Yeah, I guess I was just against the like he's the only gay character, so he has to be so overly gay that he wears a dress and his name is Sally Can't Dance and he's like strutting his stuff and stuff. You know, like maybe that would, you know, maybe the character would be that, but in the 90s the character would be that. You know what I mean? And that's what was problematic to me.
All right.
I guess.
So, yeah. So we'll call it a wash, Rob, but it's as if you didn't even bring anything up.
Okay, fine. I don't care.
Wow.
All right, here's a good one. Cyrus tells the pilot to say over the airwaves, small disturbance, essentially, no problems. As there's an alarm blaring in the background, and Cyrus immediately turns around and fires a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, he turns around while the pilot is still talking and shoots the gun in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's this high profile, if there's any kind of disturbance, it's a red flag that they're going to pin, and they're immediately on to, you know, they're going to do status checks with every member on board. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, to your point, I think if this was more rooted in realism, there'd be like 5-minute checkpoints, like every 5 minutes. Going like everything good,
Yeah.
and there'd be like so that makes sense. So to your point,
I'm going to go against Chris on this one and say it was an appropriate lack of convicts' care for one another. Like they didn't, as appropriate. They didn't trust each other, which was appropriate.
That's true.
Kudos to that direction.
Yeah, and then. Also, to your point, Bob, I mean, I've only read things. I've never been to prison, but I read things about it in like fictions and like I've seen movies. They did a really good job of like, they're all from different parts of the country and different cell blocks, but like they knew enough through the grapevine to know whether or not somebody was actually like Poe's character. They're like, wait,
Billy Bedlam calls out Cage specifically.
He's like, I was in that cell block. I never seen you, and he's like, I kept to myself. But like they all knew like little pockets of information, as they probably would in prison, because like word gets around through letter writing and just like their sneaky ways behind bars. So I like that.
I will give you that. Pins and Skins, Swamp Thing, and Pinball. Swamp Thing's a really dumb name. So is Pinball, and I don't know if that's because he's bald or is that why they call him, because he looks like a pinball. I don't know. But Pins and Skins, what I mean by that is they had metal in their hand that they were able to like pull out. Wouldn't they have had some kind of metal detection is it too small? Is it too deeply embedded in the skin? If so, then why isn't it bleeding when they're extracting it? And can you take a like bobby pin? It's really only the sharp part, and unlock cuffs with it, because I don't think so.
I think both points are appropriately noted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
All right. So I'm gonna say this is another good thing for the movie. Neither the DEA or the U.S. Marshal have a higher jurisdiction. Apparently, it's ambiguous, as stated.
Oh.
So neither agency has a jurisdiction over the other. So
cool.
Kudos to the writing and direction.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had to look that up.
So here's a point I'm gonna nitpick about the movie. What Johnny 23 was his name? Danny Trejo's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he says he's got a rose tattooed for every victim, but it'd be
Heart.
His name would be Heart. His name would be 600 if they actually knew how much crimes he really committed. Then wouldn't he have had 600 tattoos?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
For all his
that's a really good point.
Yeah, good point.
Damn.
Yep.
Really good point.
Yeah.
Cusack, and I think his name is Larkin, right?
Yeah.
Larkin could never so quickly have solved Cyrus's puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Even if you could guess that the Last Supper's eyes poked out made like a
cypher
highlighter for a cypher. Yeah, a cypher.
A Cyrus cypher.
A Cyrus cypher. Even if you could figure that out, then they grant him that he can just magically float it over an article and pick out the letters.
Yeah.
But also, wouldn't the rest of the crew have to have the same shit? And that just seems unlikely.
Yeah, like what good is it to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does he have it? He hasn't sent it out then yet. That's a really good point, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of them did he make, and why did he keep a copy for himself? He already knows the fucking information.
Yeah.
And then he left the bomb for them just in case they did find it.
Mm-hmm.
But by then they've already radioed it in. It's just a fucking confused and idiotic scene. Befitting of a bad movie.
No. All right, I'm gonna go back to a good thing in the movie. For once in an action movie, a plane crashes into a gas station and there isn't an explosion.
Well, not immediately.
No, but it doesn't. Hey, listen to what I said.
You're right.
A plane
You're right.
crashes into a gas station and there isn't an immediate explosion. Kudos to that direction.
And to your point, Bob, it's the explosion was because the fuel leaked out of the plane, and then they threw something at it, right? That was the
the fuel leaked out of the ground at the pumps, which made more sense.
I was confusing it
even
with
more sense.
I was confusing it with the Cyanora part when he threw the cigarette. But yeah,
Bob, you're right.
No, same thing.
You're right. Your immediate there was bold, italic, underlined. I understand.
Yeah.
Rob, I think it's you next. Yeah.
Yeah. This is to the film's discredit. We touched on it earlier. The Steve Buscemi's character is just like in Vegas. He's just like it's like there should be a sequel that follows that story.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Yeah. Because
these never happen. People say this all the time. It's like The Big Lebowski. Like people are like, "Oh, you got to do a Jesus sequel," but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually more likely. But movies like this, Rob, to your point, that should have a sequel following it. You'd have to make a completely different genre. You can't make a Con Air action movie sequel.
Yeah.
With just him, so it's a totally different director, writer, cast.
Yeah. But, like, it's just funny that the most violent character who has the highest body count is just like, that's a loose end that needs to be tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
But apparently, since Anthony Hopkins did it, it's okay here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Since one of the greatest actors of his or any generation managed to win an Oscar because of his performance as a psychopath we all rooted for because of how smart he was and how great the dialogue was written for that amazing movie, we're supposed to be okay with Steve Buscemi's character, who was poorly written in this movie, getting away with killing 30 people. All right. Here's a lame line for you. When the agent who pulls out a gun on the plane, it was Malloy's, secret agent on the plane that was acting like a convict. He's got the gun in his sock. He pulls it out. He gets shot. Apparently, he pissed his pants, right? And we know this because Cyrus is making fun of Malloy and Larkin over the airwave, saying, at least my guys aren't peeing their pants. Your guys are pussies or whatever. And then he goes, nothing makes me sadder than an agent lost his bladder in the airplane. And this is the stilted scaffolding bullshit that you and I were talking about, Rob, that you said stilted. I really like the way that you put that. It's not like he's supposed to be psychotic, so he came up with like a nursery, like it's a nursery rhyme reference or whatever. Thought it was really lame, and I love this movie. Bob?
Yep.
I'm going to point out that Chris is still back in the first act of the movie, and me and Rob have like moved on way past. So I feel like this is going to go on way longer. So I'm going to go on with what I had anyway. Immediately after saying the plane did not have an immediate explosion, the gasoline explosion that did follow that scene would have killed Poe. Shrapnel alone, it would have killed him.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Yeah. They said the title of the movie twice.
I did hear it once. What do you remember the two times?
The first one was like Cyrus was like, "Well, welcome to Con Air," and then
that's the one.
And then the other one was like, "Con Air has began its descent to whatever." They said it twice.
Really?
I definitely heard it twice.
Okay.
Yeah, you could maybe get away with it once. We love that here. But I like when Cameron Poe is like, Diamond Dog tells him he's got to go down to check the landing gear.
Yeah.
And Cameron Poe goes, I'll get to see some nice scenery down there. Trees and stuff. It almost made worse dialogue. That's not charming. It's just idiotic.
Trees and stuff.
I didn't get it. Anyway, Bob?
All right. This made me laugh. When they were in Carson City, I think it was Carson City. No. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They were at the airfield, at the desert airfield.
Yeah.
They had like Coke cans and like rocks and like pieces of metal arranged in the sand.
Yes.
There's no fucking way they would have taken that long to gather those things and arrange them into this little model. That was hilarious. Because they're like,
you're right.
No, that's just a rock. I'm like, but still, there's no way you would have done all this in this time you had. They didn't have time for that. So
they definitely didn't have that.
That was my against the movie moment.
Yeah.
The one?
No, one of many. Pay attention.
Yes. No. Thank you.
Attention.
I wanted you to say that. You fell into my trap. One of many.
So, like, Cyrus was in the system. He's been in the system more than he's been out of it. That's been established. A lot of the criminals on this plane are sipping from a similar cup, so to speak, in that they've been inside the institution more than they've been outside of it.
Yeah.
What kind of flight simulation were they practicing with to successfully hijack the plane? And like land it. Yes, they had a crash landing, but that wasn't necessarily their fault. That was external, unanticipated things that kind of messed up their trajectory. Yeah. So but even though they crash landed it in a way where the plane was still intact. So like they had some sort of expertise, which I'm not quite sure how they grasped that. 'Cause even if you read an aviation book in prison, like that's different than like all the toggles and knobs and actually having done it before.
It's like Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
They didn't know calculus now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just as bad. I like that. I like the part where Cameron Poe
What?
goes. No, obviously I'm kidding. It is. Well, I love when Cameron Poe is like, "What was I thinking? All right, yeehaw." I don't know, man. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to make him seem like a total moron, or are they trying to make him seem like a smart guy that knows that like what people think of him, and he's like playing off of that?
The second thing you just said, yes,
Yeah.
it's that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it makes him sound like an idiot. Like why, if you're concerned about getting home to your wife and daughter and saving your friend Baby-O, why all this? You know, like who's it for? It's for you. Yeah. Like, are you really having a laugh, Mister? I'm so serious about getting home to my daughter. Like you're just like coming up with quips. These like really awful dumb quips.
I mean, humor's what gets you through, man. That's why we're doing the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Life is shit from wall to wall. We gotta find humor and joy in the small things, you know.
You're not wrong. Okay, I apologize for that one then.
So when Cyrus and Diamond Dog, find the note from Cameron Poe's daughter,
yeah,
like they know it's Poe after reading the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just kill him? Why do they have to like play a game and like ask like who is this? Who cheated? Who's our imposter? Like why? Like what's
it made no sense.
It serves the narrative. It does not serve the story.
It serves the narrative because Baby-O ended up getting shot, and then he can do his Bubba Gump I'm dying why thing that he does in Forrest Gump, and then they specifically recast him to do that all over again. And instead of naming him Bubba Gump, or not Bubba Gump, Bubba whatever, Bubba Blue, they named him Baby-O and have him do the exact same thing on the ground in a plane.
Yeah,
he doesn't die, by the way. But anyway,
here's a criticism: if you're that far gone into diabetic shock, I don't think getting your insulin injection is going to bring you back that quickly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Does it?
Oh, it does.
Right.
But he'd be way farther gone than he was.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with you against you.
Yeah, like to be that close, like to be that
the whole
to be
podcast
on the edge of death, like to be that close to the edge of death, and like be like running and like it's like I don't know.
He wouldn't be to the edge of death, but he'd be to the edge of comprehension.
Okay.
And he wouldn't be making like coherent sentences and stuff like that.
Okay.
But he would come back quickly.
Okay.
But he wouldn't be talking that well up to the edge.
Bob, I feel like you renamed the episode. I feel like with you and against you, or however it is that you worded it. Is it the way that
here's a quick story. Here's a quick story. My wife and I, before we were my wife and I, were in college together, and we were walking a guy back to his dorm, and he was going through diabetic shock from drinking too much. And we had to quickly measure out his insulin to shoot it into his leg and recover him from a possible tragedy. And from the time he was before the shot, he was incoherent. And after the shot, he was quickly
so first day in the
like a regular guy.
It
was incredible.
Was he hitting his Harvey all night? Is that
hitting his Harvey?
What it was?
He also was talking about putting the money back in the box. I'm not sure what that was about, but anyway, that happened.
Yeah,
it happened. All right, it happened.
He was like, I had too much chilled lemonade,
or not enough.
Or not enough. Yeah, true. Very sugary. Rob, that was you, right?
Sure. I think so. Yeah.
With the insulin coming. Yeah. So a cop comes to the scene of the pinball body flown into a car in the middle of a big city. Of course, it falls on a big city. It would definitely like hit a field or water or something. Like it definitely wouldn't fall on a car. Anyway, that's not my catch-all. The catch-all is a body fell out of the sky, the cop says to Larkin. Larkin says, "What's that got to do with my hijacked plane full of convicts?"
Well, just in case
he doesn't say that, okay? But he's like, "What's that got to do with me?"
just in case the viewer, like forgot what was happening. You had to,
Yeah, well, like Larkin's like, I don't understand why you're calling me about a body that fell out of the sky over the trajectory that my convict plane is flying.
Yeah.
It's totally ridiculous. What's that got to do with me? All right, anyway.
Okay, jumping 60 plus minutes ahead of where Chris is on the catch-all. Cyrus would not have evaded the gunshots from the helicopters. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
agreed.
He was in an open plane and the helicopters are shooting like military grade gunshots into the back of the plane. He's like, pew pew pew, and he's like, he evaded it.
Yeah. How did you do the sound effect? That effectively.
Pew, 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 pew.
I'm amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't have any like isolated incidents yet because like we're going along on this catch-all, so like my list is exhausted. But I will say this:
who's going along on the catch-all?
Hey, we're all at the same point
we
here.
All are. We're all up to par here.
Yeah.
For
like
now,
I said, this movie was made by baby boomers approaching their 30s or approaching middle age, depending on what end of the bracket they were born.
Yeah, fair.
This was pre-9/11, 1997, practical effects, no CGI. I just, overall, I'm just impressed with what they were able to pull off with this movie. And they did it in a way where, like I said, they heightened every stereotype, but they also gave redeeming qualities to every stereotype. And I think it's a peak action movie for that reason. That's why I'm having trouble faulting this movie overall, because I feel like it has every cliche in the book, but compared to every other film we've done on this podcast up to this point, they earned the cliche. In writing, there's always this phrase. When I was going to school for writing and stuff, that you have to earn that cliche, and I think they earned it overwhelmingly throughout most of this movie. There are weak spots, but for what it is, for a big summer blockbuster with lots of things blowing up, mwah, chef's kiss,
Look, I love the movie. I'd watch it again tonight if Erin was willing, but that's never going to happen because she doesn't like bad movies. Here's mine.
Okay.
In prison, Poe learned Spanish just in case.
Like John Travolta, 600 hours of Spanish lessons.
All right.
Just in case on this airplane
jumping to other movies now. Okay, Chris.
Yeah.
Just go.
Okay. All right. Buscemi is so good. He's fire, as the kids would say. 2 years ago, probably. Yeah. Gas at $1.03. I'm sorry, I got to say it. I know, grown. Yeah. There's a box of talons and onions in the airplane hangar.
Yeah.
Chicken talons and onions that Poe discovers. I don't. No explanation. They don't come back to it. Nothing. The girl and Garland were very uncomfortable. That scene was very uncomfortable for me. So that was very effective, I thought. Mm-hmm. Well, baby O, it's not exactly Mai Tais and Yahtzee out here, says Poe. Nearly worst dialogue. Bullet to the bicep, no biggie. Cyrus dodges a propeller somehow. When they crash in Vegas, a propeller comes through the plane. Cyrus moves out of the way.
Yeah.
He backs up from a propeller coming through the plane at 700 miles an hour. Backs away from it.
Yeah, that's part of my third act is like hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Every ATF agent or whatever knows how to fly an attack helicopter.
Yep.
So no wonder he does. Cyrus got his head crushed. I thought that was lame. The way that he died was pretty lame.
Yeah.
The actual writer of the movie actually said that. He said he did not like the end of Cyrus.
I thought it was terrible. It's not befitting at all. Like, I think what they were going for was his brain was his greatest weapon and the thing that was smashed at the end or whatever, but it was poor symbolism.
I have one more thing if I can jump in, actually.
I have one more also.
It's really, 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 really dumb. But when the guy's car gets dragged by the plane and like trapped right in front of him,
that's. I'm glad you said that because that's too much. It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much.
No, but like I said at the beginning of the film, that car established that guy's personality when he backed into the handicap spot, and then like he gets humbled by his car. as it drops at his feet.
And the license plate says "as kicker."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I thought that they brought it back full circle in the most ridiculous way possible, and I'm
because
I'm
the
happy about
plane like had a rope that Cameron tied to like a pillar, thinking it would stop the plane, and that rope like with a pillar catches the car, and it's just too much. Bob agrees. Look at that face.
Yeah.
No, it's not too much. It was just enough.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
There
Last one. They would shut down all casinos. Garland Green would not be playing craps or roulette if there was a plane crash on the strip.
Maybe
everyone's celebrating like there wasn't a million fucking fatalities on the strip.
Maybe go ahead.
No, Rob, don't bother.
Yes.
It's not.
Maybe he got a taxi to Reno and just chilling over there for a minute.
No, obviously, when the whole thing went down, they would have blocked off both ends of the strip, and they wouldn't have had a chase with motorcycles. I do agree. Yeah. That was just like forced. Like they're the heroes.
Yeah,
and they're going to save the day.
They're going to finish
even though
the job.
All they had to do was just say, "Hey, block off the road. Watch out for that runaway
fire engine." For
fire engine. with a bald guy in a prison guard uniform riding on the ladder.
Yeah.
Oh God, ridiculous.
So I agree with that part. Yeah,
totally ridiculous. Love this movie. Hate this movie.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. So why don't we throw it to bad credit names, because we are running long. That was quite a catch-all.
Hey, Colleen. Got a great ass.
So do you, Pilgrim. So do you, Pilgrim. So do you, Pilgrim.
Bad credit names. Ashley Smock.
Okay.
I haven't heard Smock since I was in elementary.
Smock.
Yeah.
Tom F. Thomas.
Yeah.
I've got a few Tom Toms downstairs.
Yeah.
LOL.
Okay.
Jerry Mongo.
Mongo number 5. Yeah.
Brownlee.
Ew.
P.R. Tukey.
That catches me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I swapped these two on purpose because it's so like us for me to make this one the champ. Colleen Woodcock.
Okay.
But I like Dick Skip Evans.
And skipping quotes.
Yeah, Dick Skip.
Okay. Dick Skip.
Dick Skip.
So I saw a pretty funny meme today I meant to send to you guys, but in between all the other hundreds I sent to you guys throughout the night, I forgot to.
Yeah.
It was like the doctor delivering Newt Gingrich. And he's like, "What do you want to name it?" His mother, Newt Gingrich.
Newt Gingrich. I feel like you can do that. I feel like you can do that for what's the actor's name in Harry Potter?
Radcliffe?
No, Ronald Weasley's name is hold on. I got it.
Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint, yeah. What do you want to name it? Rupert Grint.
In England, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. All right, let's compare the. Oh, actually, let's do the offensive minigame.
Sure.
I care for you a great deal. Trust me, Charlotte.
You practically raped me last night.
That was last night, Charlotte. This is today.
Is something you might hear about in the offensive minigame.
I just realized this is the last time we're going to hear these bumpers on a bad movie episode ever.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I can't wait for the next one. Miami Connection. Anyway, no spoilers. Go for it.
Yeah, not that we know that that's going to be Con Air, the movie that you guys fucking love.
Yeah.
All right. Cat calling car ride or ditching your daughter?
Ditching your daughter.
An offensive?
Yeah, Bob's
just
going to
vote
for Miami Connection every time because he doesn't want Con Air to lose somehow.
Shut up. I'm telling you what I think, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what you think, Bob. Let's see what happens. Cat calling car ride or ditching
I think cat calling is more offensive. Leaving your daughter for the sake of another man is an equal thing.
All right,
And
well,
Rob, shame on you for voting for that.
Whatever.
Looks like we need a tiebreaker here. I'm gonna go with ditching your daughter.
Okay.
All right. Tasteless, time-wasting biker butt, or problematic prisoners.
Biker butt.
Biker butt. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
All right, I can't override that one. Salami carrot.
Yeah.
I hope you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or Native American arsony.
All right, Native American.
That one.
I'm not dying on this hill.
Yeah.
Native American.
Native American arsony. Rob, you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think lighting a restrained person in a chair next to you while offensively mocking their heritage is a little worse than making a little wiener joke.
Then everything. Everything.
I think so. Agreed. Okay, movie comparison time.
Yep.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
But you can compare the movies.
Oh, this is gonna be so interesting. All right, Miami Connection and Con Air. Con Air a negative 17.8 and not worst.
Yeah.
But Miami Connection a plus 38.4 and best.
Yeah.
So Con Air takes this one. Bob,
Go
you
figure.
win. You win with your 5-star Miami Connection pitch against my winning 4-star. And mine, by the way, was tanked. Mine was like a plane crashing on the Vegas Strip. Because I had a 5-star, but you guys intentionally tanked me to a 4-star.
No, mine was good.
Yeah.
Offensive minigame. We just heard a win for Con Air. Dialogue. What's worse?
Miami Connection.
I can't lie. Obviously, it's Miami Connection.
Yeah.
2-2. Lack of prior experience. Miami Connection or Con Air with Unreal Action.
A lack of prior experience.
Yeah, Miami Connection, because like as unrealistic as Con Air was, there was enough experience to make it magical.
Yeah, no, I agree. Lack of prior experience here is the winner. Acting, obviously, it's Miami Connection.
Yeah,
obviously, yes. Yeah, Con Air acting was actually very good. I have to say.
I agree. Other than Cage, who put
oh my god,
Father. I gotta say, I didn't like Cage in this one. I thought that he should have gone less Cajun than Cajun. Demerits Asian Tommy Wiseau or Cajun Cage.
Asian Tom Wiseau.
Yeah. I mean, another demerit for Con Air would be Boomer's Wet Dream, because that's what this movie is.
All right, I will write that down for the record.
Future reference.
But, yes, for the record.
But obviously, Miami Connection does win, which I think the science proves out to be right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a flawless victory. If you don't count demerits, it's a 4-2. Lending me some merit. It did lose twice to Con Air, but it was the much stronger bad candidate. So the worst movie of the season, I already wrote in Miami Connection before the movie podcast episode even started because I knew it. Next week, guys, really fun. We're doing a good movie.
Yeah.
We're doing a good kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Thanks to Miami Connection.
Yeah.
Being the worst of the season. We are doing Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan. I love early Jackie Chan. It's not even early Jackie Chan. That's like mid-career Jackie Chan, really. But I love early to mid Jackie Chan. I love Rush Hour. I know it was a candidate that you guys maybe don't love as much as I do. Rob, I think you do.
I love Rush Hour.
Oh, man, I fucking love Rush Hour. And Rush Hour 2, I like it too. Rush Hour 3 is an absolute joke. It's a turd in like a plastic bag set on fire that you have to stomp out on.
Keep going, but they all are. But go ahead. They're all turds.
No. So it's Con Air. All right, Rob, plug us and then send it over to Bob for his last word.
Yeah, www.theworstmovieevermade.com. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram. We have polls. We have trailers. We interact with the audience. And did I miss anything? I think that's everything. I got to piss really bad, so I'm not thinking straight.
Rob did say email us, make fun of us. If you email us and make fun of us and give us a movie, we will put it on the podcast.
Yes,
last time we had a movie suggestion, and the time before that we put it on the pod. It took us 2 weeks last time, but we already had them figured out. If you email us and give us a movie, we will put it on the. We'll gladly do it. We'll give you our honest opinion. So email us, make fun of us. That's a requirement.
Yep. And then last words, Bob.
I'm gonna go with Chris's win for the fact or no fact and call it con swear.
All right.
Very nice.
All right, guys. We will see you, and you will hear us next week.
I won.
Thanks for listening.
I won the episode.
Look at Bob repping the last Comic Shop podcast featuring Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad Smith.
That's it. Yes.
That's him.
I'm satisfied. I had fun.
Me too.
That was so much fun.
That's so bad. I gotta pee so bad.
Bye, Jelly School.
Let's see.
I can't wait to farm clips from the movie. What's it called?
Miami Connection.
Miami Connection.
Bumpers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Just wait.